What is Garin instructing people to do?
I think he's going to go ahead and start looking at the angle of the river and where it's swelled beyond the banks and the direction where it's threatening to kind of overtake the hill and into where a number of these communities have set up temporarily, to start relocating the stones to offset where that is, densely pack them deep into the muck, and try to basically be a barricade, a full-on dam that'll carry the river beyond the point of danger and further into the valley where it's supposed to go.
You have the most help action a person could have as these halflings and hobgoblins, and Bull Ray starts to direct his community, and he's like, all right, he's like, Boundleys, go get the oxen. He says, they've just worked all night. Why can't they have a little time off? And he's like, we're all in it together. The oxen are in it with us. So they start hauling stones. Go ahead and give me a Mason's tools check with advantage.
Oh, this helps stacks.
This helps stacks. There you go. Call it DC 10 for something. DC 15 gets you the best result you're looking for here.
That's going to be a 20.
A dirty 20. I will say this. Over the course of that day, Garin, you are striding around, hearty claps on the back from Bull Ray. You see that these three halflings look really industrious and they want to help, but you can tell these three halflings have never known an honest day's work in their life. Their task is better suited to going and getting the goods by means unclear to you. And as they are passing tools and things off to people, and Bull Ray is there, I think you are busy with that bridge there. You see that Marlath comes and gets on the wagon as the Boudleys are passing stuff off, and you see that he has sort of covered this as the rain kind of fades, and instead sort of a mist comes up. Right as the Boudleys are starting to pass stuff off, Marlath says, what's your name? All right, 2 hammers to you, and just begins to keep track of what's being passed out to people.
Bureaucracy is born anew.
And starts to take a ledger of names and who got what and who went to whom. The Boudleys sort of look over, and you see that you can see Marlath sort of speaking candidly with the Boudley brothers as he sort of marks down what's going where. Garin, on that 20, a wall comes up overnight. What was hay bales and rope becomes replaced with solid stone, mortared with earth. And I think that you see, as these stones go over, you actually look and see out there in the river, there is, in the middle of it, a standing stone that's about like maybe 10 feet out and splits the difference. You think you could probably get 2 of these stones anchored on that rock out in the middle and get a bridge out to the rest of the forest. On that dirty 20, the wall goes up and a passage out to the forest. And I think Arrow and Nia, with your Wanderer ability, that's the forest that has like game. It's higher up in altitude. There's probably food out there. There's ability to like trap and hunt and things like that.
I think as this is going on too, like there's moments where people are either losing focus or, you know, misaligning things out of a lack of knowledge, and Garin steps up and begins, you know, giving shouts and overarching instruction to how to correct these things and work it properly. And as happens time to time, his brain kind of wanders to memories of giving these same instructions as they were carving out the deeper hillsides and mountain abodes of Uthor, and he kind of catches himself and steps back a bit and kind of withdraws from a position of authority that he began to step into out of instinct, and instead turns back to Bull Ray and puts the remainder of his effort teaching Bull Ray and lifting him up as leader as opposed to being that. But still takes pride in this endeavor.
As you show the working of the stone, how to build a foundation, where the pressure, what the relationship of the weight is to the rest of the structure, how to be the person that knows how to do this intuitively and deeply. You see after there's this moment later on in the day when the first because getting the first stone out there is easier. You just get it up, leverage it, have ropes, it goes nice and solid. It's getting that second stone across, that larger standing stone, to make a little footbridge over the raging water. And you see as that goes, it's tipping, people are getting it into position, ropes, it's a little bit more precarious, and boom, falls exactly where you said it was going to. A cheer, and this one not ragged, this one just as it goes up, and you can see as that cheer goes up, there's a moment and a pause, and from deeper in the woods, as another cheer of this lost party goes up, and everyone starts to freak out, going, So you see that one guy who's way too exhausted and injured to be yelling this hard just sort of faints and gets lifted back up. Oh, get him back to the infirmary. Like, he cheered too hard. He passed out. Like, you see this bedraggled, coughing, exhausted search party comes back with barrels and barrels of like herbs and like medicinal greens from the woods up ahead, and just baskets and baskets of berries from further up on the hillside. Comes in, and what would have been a raging torrent finds a bridge waiting for them. And as Bullray looks, he goes, You've changed the world. This didn't used to be here, and now it is. That's something like a miracle.
Miracles don't come from one person. We did this. You did this. And it's just the beginning.
You see, he smiles and looks out and goes, You know, you're talking about the weight of the stones. Long time ago, I remember there was a woman in my village before I was taken from my family and sent to work here in the ash fields by the Strife Emperor's soldiers. And the rulings and edicts of the Emperor, the gauntlet raised on high, our ruler, our sovereign. When I was young, I believed in him because it's what we were allowed to believe in. Gotta believe in something. This girl who came through our village, beautiful, long ears, nut brown fur shining like starlight. So I've heard starlight shines. And she said, because I referred to the Strife Emperor as our leader. And she corrected me. She said, our ruler. And I said, well, what's the difference? And she said, a ruler goes on top. And he points to the stones. And a leader goes underneath. Gets under something. A town, a family, a cause. Person who leads finds a way to hold the weight that others cannot hold, to be sturdy and strong. I never knew what she really meant. It seemed so impossible to matter like that, but I do know one thing. She carried a hammer.